Hi all, it's JV here from Marketplace Flipper, and today's little how-to is on how to purchase an iPhone from a local marketplace like Facebook Marketplace. And obviously you need to do a few checks and stuff like that when purchasing something secondhand off another seller. So let's get started. Okay, so if you look at the bottom right of the screen, you will notice I have just some notes, some important notes that we need to take a look at on what is important when purchasing something. Now, I've used this for purchasing over hundreds of phones. It's worked for me. I have never been caught out yet. Look, this will only minimize everything. There is no guarantee because you're dealing with different humans all the time. So be aware that you can only minimize your risk when purchasing a second-hand iPhone. So I'm going to try and make it as quick as I can, straight to the point. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first of all, the advantages are you're going to be able to negotiate on this type of stuff. You're going to be able to message them and meet almost any time, and they'll really want your business as opposed to some employee working at a store where they're not really emotionally attached to the actual product. You've got negatives as well with this. You've got a higher percentage of scammers. You've also got stuff like they can be a bit unreliable, as in they are selling something, then they don't reply, or they go on holidays and they can't come back until like 2 weeks time, stuff like that. You're going to get that, but it's rare. And they can be a bit clueless about their own product when it comes to even pricing as well. So it leads to the next point, which is always do your market research. You have to check the price of the phone you're wanting to buy. Don't go by the price they got listed. Don't go by the price that it was brand new. You go by the price of a second-hand phone and what they sell for, not what they list for. Remember this, listing price is different to sale price. Most of the time people get knocked down on the price, so they renegotiate. This is how local sellers work. Now, obviously, the more experience you have, the more you can see opportunities. But also, when you do negotiate, be respectable to the purchaser. The best place to look at the market price is eBay. You can go on eBay and you can search what certain products have sold for, at what price, and at what date. And there's an option where you can go through eBay and check that out. So make sure you do. It's such a handy tool. Okay, now when you're gonna contact these people, bit of due diligence. Check to see if they've got any type of positive feedback on previous sales, and obviously check that they don't have like a fake a Facebook account. What I mean by that is that it hasn't started, say hasn't been created, say like last month, where they have no profile picture and they're selling a $2,000 phone for $1,000. That's clearly not gonna go in your favor. So be aware of that. Generally I go by gut feeling in these situations. Now, these are the important questions to ask to save yourself from buying a lemon phone. So let's go through the important questions. The first one is obvious. How is the battery life on it? Pretty simple. Next one is it under contract or under a network? That is very important, because if you check that out, especially in the US and other countries, if they're under contract, there's usually a payment to get that out of the contract, or the phone gets locked or reported lost or stolen. And if it's got a network lock, it can cost money to unlock it. So you need to make sure that it doesn't have a network lock. Okay, now, this one is always check if it's under warranty. If it's under warranty, then that's great, but make sure it hasn't been repaired by a third party, because if it has been repaired by a third party repairer, it pretty much voids any type of warranty. But you're buying secondhand phones, so there's a very good chance that on most occasions that they are out of warranty unless you're buying a fairly newer model. Okay, now always check, if it has been repaired, what was the damage? Was it dropped in water? Anything dropped in water you don't want to touch. It's just the nature of the beast, where that's the rule that I live by. Anything that has had water damage and still works, it'll eventually get worse, get corrosive, and the phone will die. So if it has had water damage, disregard it. Plenty of phones to purchase. Okay, now you're happy with the phone, everything's going well. Now you can respectfully ask them to see what their lowest price is. So you can ask them in a nice way, what's your last price or what's your lowest price? And then see if they're willing to negotiate. If they are, that's great, because the important thing is that then you can make an offer. But always keep them in a good mood. Don't be rude with your offer. Don't say, look, there's another guy selling his phone for X amount of dollars. People don't want to hear that. If you're respectful, you'll keep them in a good mood, and there's a very good chance that they'll be nice to you, and hey, they might even lower the price. Not out of being nice, but just, they're just wanting to negotiate. Now, just a bit of a heads up for scammers out there. A lot of people find phones. A lot of people, steal phones. But there's a lot of people that, have found phones and say in Uber, on the ground, whatever. And they somehow think they're not committing a crime, but they do know they're in the gray area. So, they'll do stuff like, oh yeah, no worries. Everything's, they'll be like, oh yeah, no worries. Everything's fine with the phone. And yeah, just prepay me. I'm away on holidays. I'm away for work, stuff like that. And then I'll post it out in the mail. No, that doesn't work. You just simply don't risk stuff like that. They could be honest, but you still need to actually look at the phone, test the phone, do your normal checks with the phone. It's just crazy to be buying a phone. And, I see this a lot as well. Like, on Facebook groups, they've got messages on certain Facebook groups saying, do not do this. People do it and then they complain why it happens. So just don't be one of those people. Okay. When you're ready to go further to look into the phone, now for me, when I purchase a phone, what I'm telling you now is the most important information. You need to check the IMEI number of an iPhone, because the IMEI number, when you check it, it'll tell you if it's got an iCloud lock, if it's got a network lock, or if it's been marked lost or stolen. Now don't forget this. People can restore the phone and they think they've wiped everything. Like, it's legitimately their phone and they've wiped it and they just want to sell it. But a lot of people don't know there's a thing called iCloud that exists, that they've logged into. And if that iCloud account is not logged out of, then when they restore the phone, it goes back to the hello screen and you go through the setup menu, only they can unlock it. Okay, so make sure that it has been removed before you even jump in the car, the bus, the train to even get there. It's so important. Next one is checking to see if there's a network or type lock. Now, I've got this in the description below. I've got a little service that I offer for a few, it depends on the phone, but the price varies. It's a couple of bucks at the moment, where, you can just submit the IMEI details to me, and then I'll do the investigation to check if it's locked, if it's stolen, network lock, stuff like that. I'll give you a list on there, and obviously I'll give you a bit of a checklist to actually test. So, if it's a bit daunting and you don't know how to do all that, most importantly, don't purchase a phone without doing it. Spend a few bucks, link below, and I'm more than happy to help. Too easy. Okay. As I said before, actually, I want to repeat this. They restore the phone and they haven't removed iCloud. Okay, and then people will say, oh, I'm sure you can go to Apple, or I'm sure you can find someone that'll unlock it. No. Apple don't do it. There's no hacker out there that does. If you Google, you'll see what I mean. there's a difference between network unlocking and removing iCloud. So don't kid yourself. It is a big difference. Okay, if they're not going to give you that IMEI, ask them why. And if they still refuse it, walk from the sale, because there's a reason they're not giving you that IMEI number. End of story. Next point. Okay, ask if it comes with accessories, stuff like that. Pretty standard. Don't get upset if it doesn't. These accessories are really cheap nowadays anyway. Okay, before I go to the next point, don't get caught up in the box as well. The box is not worth anything. I mean, some people think it is and they want a box. Okay, fair enough if you're buying it for a present, but it's a box. It doesn't make calls. 100% you're going to pull it out of the box. You're going to put the box in a cupboard and you'll probably never see it for a very long time. So just don't get caught up in that. I see a lot of people do. Okay, now check the details when you meet up, stuff like that. Make sure that the IMEI number matches with the phone when you check the phone that they gave you. So they've given you a phone over the internet or Facebook Messenger, and you need to check if that's the same IMEI on the phone. And most importantly, this is the most important one for yourself. Let me just go back. Meet in a safe public area that's well lit. Why I say well lit is simply put, I had a customer once when I was working as a full-time repairer. He came in, purchased a phone at a McDonald's car park at night. Next day he saw it was full of scratches and stuff like that, and that wasn't cool. So you don't want to be caught out like that. Okay, now finally, just test the speakers, SIM card, front and back camera, Wi-Fi, charge port, anything you can. Give the purchaser a heads up that you're wanting to test this. Give the purchaser a heads up that you're wanting the phone to be charged. Stuff like that. So when you do meet up with them, that they've got no excuses, and also you've given them a heads up on your intention. So that's pretty much it. As I said, I've got that service where if you are interested in buying a few phones or anything like that, you can click that link, submit the details. I get back to you usually within about 6 hours, and give you a heads up if it's fine to purchase or it needs to be removed. So once again, thank you. Please like, please subscribe, and if you like this video, will be in your like history, so you can go back to it on a later date. Thanks. Bye.